Got Tony Anzetti and Larry Kotler here because it's time now for Pigskin Preview as we take a look at the collegiate action around the state of Iowa here of interest and big games going on this weekend.
There are, and we'll start, of course, in Iowa City. We're not going chronologically because that's a night game, but it's the game of really the most importance in the state because you've got an undefeated Iowa team, which is now number 5 in the college football poll, which I think surprised a lot of people. They're number 5 means they're one step out from the Final Four, as they say.
Right.
And like I said, Iowa's getting some respect this week. It was kind of fun to see that.
And a lot of hate, too. This is the most fun for me, is the people that hate Iowa are just going nuts, and it's so much fun on the internet.
You're like Colin Cowherd?
Colin Cowherd, yeah.
Oh, really?
There's some local
There's a lot of people in the state alone. You don't have to go outside
Yeah.
the
No,
state
I know.
to find that is enough.
Let them hate.
Yeah.
Let them hate. If they want to hate, you know what? Kirk Ferentz could care less. Because right now you're just trying to win football games and you're taking on your arch rival. This is the rivalry. Iowa, Minnesota. People talk about Iowa, Nebraska, but this is the rivalry. Now, I look at this game tomorrow, and I've been trying to figure out, is this going to be a close game or not? Because it should. You always think Iowa, Minnesota should be a close game.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be.
Yeah, no,
Look at
it
this.
does have to make you worry because remember we were talking about Northwest. People were talking about Northwestern beating Iowa, and Iowa blitzed Northwestern the year before and then did the same again this time. So I couldn't see why they were so worried about Northwestern. But Minnesota, they handed Iowa a pretty good thumping last year, and they played really nice. They played a really solid game last Saturday against Ohio State. It wasn't. I mean, offensively they couldn't do a lot, but defensively they stayed there with Ohio State. So it could be a little scary. But
Yeah,
the good
I'm not
thing
scared
here
about
at
this
home.
game at all. Minnesota's lost 3 in a row. They've lost 4 of their last 5. They have a new interim coach. I don't know. I look at this game. I see they have running backs who are injured. They got Mitch Leidner, who's an okay quarterback. Beathard gets better. They got some great numbers on Beathard in the fourth quarter. 26 of 38 for 352 yards and 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. I mean, he gets better as the game goes on, despite his injuries. And I just don't see Minnesota competing in this game. I see 2-touchdown game, easy. I mean, I just do.
The difference in this Hawkeye team this year is the running game. I mean, it's
no
made
question.
Beathard better. It made the receivers better because it's not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 guys you can throw in there.
And that's going to be the question. How do you rotate 4 guys? Because that's really difficult to do now that Canzeri's back. I mean, that's really difficult to rotate 4 guys in and get anybody going with a rhythm. That sometimes you get too many guys. But I think you have Canzeri, you have Daniels, you have Wadley, and then you have Mitchell. So, I mean, I don't know. But I just don't see this as a close game. I've been trying to, just because of the rivalry, and Minnesota wants to beat them, but I don't see it.
Now, what's the deal with the uniforms? That they're supposed to have some big secret uniforms, but all black. Is that what we heard? Is that the?
I'm not even sure.
It's a blackout Saturday, so who knows?
Yeah.
Here's the latest. Some of those pictures that are popping up.
It's kind of cool.
Now, could that be what the uniform is? There's no confirmation as to what the uniforms are, but that's one of the pictures that have leaked.
4:30 Saturday, they're going to release the picture of the uniform.
All right. Well, we'll find out. It's cool if that's what it is. Yeah.
Then you've got Iowa State, final home game of the season. The seniors being honored.
Right.
And they're taking Oklahoma State. A lot of people are talking about 2011, and Oklahoma State came in number 2 in the country, undefeated, trying to get in the, I think at that time it wasn't, obviously it was the BCS championship game, and Iowa State stunned them, Woody with that, touchdown run. And a lot of people are trying to draw a similarity. I don't see that one either, to be real honest with you. I mean, Oklahoma State, I was looking at their numbers. Offensively, 446 yards. 44.6 points per game. Number 10 in the country passing offense. Top 10 in red zone offense. Iowa State's defense, not so much. And I'd love to go differently, but I always look, guys, at the team that needs it the most. Oklahoma State needs this game because they have home games with Baylor and Oklahoma coming up, and they can't afford to look past Iowa State because. Think about what happened last weekend with Michigan State.
Yeah.
Their national title hopes went right down the drain when they lost to Nebraska.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma State is thinking, A, revenge. B, we have a chance to play for the national title if we keep this up. We can't look past Iowa State. And you guarantee Mike Gundy won't let them look past Iowa State.
Yeah, I think they're looking more at this at getting way out early and licking their wounds and keeping some of those guys fresh for those final 2 games because they control their own destiny. They went out, they're in the BCS. I mean, they're in the playoffs. There's no doubt about it. So the big thing for the Oklahoma State and what Iowa State needs to worry about is them just going out there and really putting a hurting on them in the first half so they can kind of take the gear off and put some other guys in there and keep their guys healthy.
Well, the other thing, too, is that when you're supposed to beat a team, you can't let that other team stick around.
Yeah.
You don't want a 14-7 game or 21-14 at halftime, because then the team that's the underdog starts to think, hey, we can win this thing.
Yeah.
We can win this thing.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State, you're exactly right, Tony. They want to just step on them early, and they could. Unfortunately, because they're that good. I mean, they're a really good football team.
All right.
Offensively, and in fact, they lead the conference in sacks, tackles for loss. So they're not just an offensive juggernaut; they're a defensive juggernaut.
All right, we'll see if we can get through the weekend then.
Yep.
For the Cyclones.
That's true. Then you got Northern Iowa playing at Missouri State, and Northern Iowa's on the path to go back to the playoffs. They're on a roll. They won 3 in a row. Missouri State's terrible. They're 1-8. They're 0-6 in the conference. I mean,
time out. Just for the record, where'd you go to school, Copman?
Not Missouri State.
No, that's my whole point. Yeah,
Well, they're
whole
bad.
point.
I mean,
Okay.
1-8, 0-6 in the conference. What's that tell you?
And there's no doubt you and I's played one, if not the toughest,
Oh, yeah.
one of the toughest schedules in FBS. So there's no doubt that they just went out there in the postseason based on how many top 10 teams they've beaten and lost to this season. So
Well, and their schedule, like you said, was top heavy.
Yeah.
Now, and then next week they close out at home against Southern Illinois, so they should win both these games to get back to the playoffs. Drake is on the road at Butler. This is going to be interesting because both these teams are 3-3 in the PFL. Drake has won every game at home and they've lost every game on the road. Their last time out, they were off last weekend. They lost at Morehead State in triple overtime.
Oh, that's right.
38-35. Ouch.
Tell everybody where Butler is in case they're not familiar with
Indiana.
it. Indiana. Okay.
Indiana.
now I hear they're playing for a new trophy. Is it this year or starting next year?
I really don't know
It's
about
a
that.
dog bowl, a gigantic,
Gigantic.
dog.
That's funny.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
good.
bulldog.
Bulldogs.
That's even
Bulldogs.
better.
I think it's a
That's
classic
clever.
little movie.
That
That is
is
clever.
great.
Better than a fire hydrant.
So that game's toss-up to me, because Drake, I don't think they're going to playoffs. I mean, there's only one team out of the PFL. It's not going to be them. So, it's a pride game to try to win one on the road before they come home and close out against Dayton. And then the future NAIA champions, the Grandview Vikings.
All right, as predicted here.
And you remember my buddy Jeff Kahn?
Of course, yeah, from
Because he
radio.
used to do Grandview games.
Yeah.
He hated William Penn. Oh my goodness.
Oh, really?
Couldn't stand William
No
Penn.
wonder he's not. No wonder I'm doing the game instead of him this week with Mark Amadeo.
He couldn't stand William Penn.
I've never met anybody who hates
That's
William
what it
Penn.
is.
I know. But so Grandview's won 9 in a row. They're going to make it 10 in a row this weekend, and then they're going to go sailing into the playoffs.
All right, we'll see. And we want them to bring that trophy back here. That's the whole
That would be
idea.
great. That would be
That's
awesome.
Back to the Hawkeyes. I have
Yes.
a 6-year-old kid. I have 2 of them. But I'm trying to impress upon him how special this is. I'm like, buddy, you've got to remember this because this is a fun year. This doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen often. Maybe once a decade it happens.
Just remember the journey. I may have mentioned this to you. I don't know if I have. Pat Hardy from used to be with the Iowa City Press Citizen, now a broadcaster, said a few years ago, he says, remember to enjoy the journey. We're always so busy looking at what's going to happen down the road. Are they going to be playing for the national title? And let's say Iowa loses a game or 2. And then people are going to be disappointed. No, that sucks and things like that. But enjoy the journey as you go along through. I mean, this is
That's a good point.
if they win this game on Saturday, which I think they will, then they're going to be at the best start in school history.
Right.
Think about that. Enjoy that.
Most people were questioning whether they'd win 6 games. Like I told somebody last week who started this role, Minnesota, Nebraska. As the old quarterback at Green Bay says, RELAX. Relax, enjoy. I mean, it's just been a fantastic. They've way overcome what
Overachieved.
anybody ever
Absolutely.
thought they were going to do this year. And if they lose, here they come off the ship again.
Oh yeah, people will freak
That
out.
drives me
Oh,
crazy.
here they blew it and they choked.
No, I like what you said. Enjoy the journey.
Enjoy the journey.
Enjoy the journey.
Let's keep talking about Iowa because our producer's an Iowa State fan. Let's see how long it takes her to wrap.
I'm hearing a rap in my ear, Jason. Just so you know, I've heard it enough. I know what it sounds like. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right.